scotch during his show. We highly encourage that.
Oh, really?
Only if that's your thing.
Okay.
A lot of our pros will come
I
in.
don't know about 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah. A lot of our pros will come in and do their interviews about 4 o'clock in the afternoon just to,
Uh-huh.
see if we still have cold beer in the refrigerator.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't want him to drink alone. Yeah, we just, and then the only other thing we try not to do is to, and I'm terrible at it, I do it all the time, but Jeff yells at me, is to date it, because these can be played for years and years and years, because they don't go out of, but when we mention things like who won the Masters and, the Ryder Cup and, right.
Oh, I want to get a little digging about the Ryder Cup.
Well, you can dig. Just say the last one. Yeah. Or the 2000. You can say the 2014. Because then yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we have people on that are still looking at, what was that? Because they'll tell us, and someone from Beijing was looking at an article back from last June 2013.
Oh, I listened to one the other day, actually. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or don't register, and I could be the only one, and I'll win the trip. So,
Lord help us. Please register.
thanks for sharing this with you, Hugh, and we look forward to November 1st for the grand opening.
Thanks, sir. We do too.
This has been the Godfather George Honeycutt bringing you a special edition here on TGD TV and TGD Radio.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of The Rules of Golf. We are so excited to be back with this show and our new host, Mr. Martyn Woodhouse, who's a PGA member and instructor at the Golf Academy here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. How are you?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Well, we're happy to have you. So you get to teach not only the rules, but also tournament management at the golf school. So
That's
we're
right.
excited to have all that knowledge here, because Jeff and I routinely do not play by the rules, but not on purpose. And I think
know.
you're going to talk about that today. So
Sure.
just for the folks that are hearing you for the first time, give a brief background of your experience and how you came to Myrtle Beach.
Sure. My name's Martyn Woodhouse. I was born in England, and I've been around golf all my life. I started playing when I was about 9 years old, and I've been a PGA member since 1981, so kind of aged myself a little bit there. I really first got interested in the rules, I guess, when I was very young. I'd spent a lot of time at the golf course, obviously, and my dad would drop me off during the summer vacation on his way to work, and I'd play 2 or 3 rounds of golf. And when I wasn't playing in the clubhouse, there was the decisions book was laying around, and me and my friends, we used to get into it and find different situations, and just found it interesting. So I guess that's how I first kind of got interested in the rules. And obviously, as a golf professional, playing you really do need to know the rules. Although I got to say, golf professionals are sometimes not the best with the rules. We often see players getting in trouble, and of course there are rules officials there to help them out.
Right.
Lee Trevino once famously said he was asked if he was pretty good with the rules. He said, "No, I'm not good with the rules. That's not my job.
Yeah, well,
My job's to play golf. Rules officials take care of those things."
right. At least they just have to notice when they need the rules official.
Well,
That's the key.
Exactly. That happens all the time, and
Right.
the smart pro is going to call the rules officials over. So just getting back to how I got here. Let's say I turned professional in 81, and worked in England for several years. But I spent a lot of time in Germany. I was head professional at 3 different golf courses in Germany between 84 and 97, and then finally made it over here. My wife is from West Virginia.
Okay.
So that's kind of the connection there, and golf capital of the world. So we figured it'd be a good place to come. So I've been here since 97. As I said, I worked at a couple of golf courses. You're my predecessor on the show, Frank. I
Right.
know very well. I've known Frank for a long time. We actually worked together for a couple of years.
At the
early-
Belterre course, right?
At Belterre, exactly. He was director of golf there,
Right.
and I was director of instruction for a couple of years, which is how I came to the Golf Academy.
Okay.
That was their home course at the time, and the director of the Golf Academy at that time was looking for somebody to teach rules. So I started doing that part-time, and then I got on there full-time. And I've been there for, 11 years now.
Well, good. And we want to shout out to the Golf Academy here in Myrtle Beach. Y'all have a lot of students out there
Sure.
learning the game and everything surrounding it.
We do.
And obviously that get placed in golf courses around the world. So
Sure, yeah.
fantastic
I would say
program.
probably, I would say close to 90% of the golf courses down here employ our graduates. We've been here a long time.
Absolutely.
And, they're out there.
I
for
know
sure.
my husband
Yeah.
likes to see those applications come across. So
Right.
that's good. So you said something when we were talking about this show that I thought was fascinating, and I don't know that a lot of our listeners know about. And it's not exactly on the rules, but leading there, when you were in Germany, to play golf in Germany, you have to have a license of
Yes,
sorts.
you do. Yes, you
I
do.
think if that were brought here, us, the Americans, would scream.
Oh, well, I'm sure they would.
So tell everyone a little bit about that. I thought it was fascinating.
Well, first of all, a lot of people think the rules are maybe different in Europe. They're not. The rules are exactly the same. Since 1952, Golf Academy. What am I saying? Golf Academy, Royal Nation.
Habit. Good. Your
I
employer
know.
will like that.
That's right. I told him I'd get some plugs.
There
in
you
for
go.
him. RNA, Royal Nation, and USGA. USGA are the governing body for the United States, of course. And I must say, I'm going to refer to the USGA a lot, and it is a great resource for anybody who's interested in the rules, and, well, not just the rules.
Right.
I don't know how many people even own the rules book. It's amazing to me how few people do. If you join the USGA as a member, it's very cheap, and you get a rules book and all that kind of thing. A rules book is $1, and it's also online there too. So, and they even have an app now for the rules.
Right.
So you can look those things up.
Very
So so the rules are universal
Okay.
across the world. The only difference with the RNA is in the rules book they spell the words correctly, like honor with a U, that kind of thing.
Okay.
But other than that, they are the same. And I'm going to talk a little bit today about some principles behind the rules.
Right. Well, real quick, tell people about the German
Yeah,
thing.
the German thing.
Because I
Yeah,
think
that's
that
right.
is fascinating. I don't want to
Yeah,
get off
it's
that.
not just in Germany. Most of the countries of Europe. It's a fairly new game
Okay.
in Germany. And when I started there in '84, there were only 200 golf courses. So all of the people that were starting were pretty much,
Were new players.
didn't know one end of the club from the other. New
Right.
players didn't know anything about, no background in it, of course. And they have what they call a Platzreife, which literally means ready for the golf course.
Okay.
And as you said, it's a kind of license to play golf. You join a golf club, spend a lot of money, it doesn't entitle you to play golf. You've got to prove yourself ready to be on the golf course. Part of that is playing ability, obviously. They have to take lessons. They have to go on the golf course and shoot a certain number, and they have to attend monthly rules evenings, which I used to conduct, of
Which
course.
includes etiquette, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the first section of the rules book, of course, the
yeah.
etiquette. So they have to learn all that. They're tested on the rules, and they're tested on the playing
Wow.
ability, and then eventually they'll get themselves a
How long does
certificate.
it take someone to get that?
Well, it can take a while. I mean, an athletic guy, might do it in a few months.
Right.
But an older person, maybe not athletic or anything like that, it could take a year or more to get to that point to where they are permitted on the golf course.
And of course, they're paying for the lessons and paying for the
Oh,
classes.
oh, absolutely, of course, yeah.
So it's a privilege. It's not a right to be able
It
to go
is,
out
and
play.
a lot of golf courses in the meantime in Germany, they've got themselves a little 3-hole course, 4-hole, 6-hole course, that kind of thing, for people to they can go out and practice and
Okay.
learn on there, but to actually get out on the big course,
Right.
They got to earn that right.
I just found that fascinating. I mean, like you said, you have to have a driver's license. You have to
Sure.
get some sort of even certificate to get married.
Yeah.
You have to do something. You have, but not to in general play sports. And golf is one of
Right.
those sports that you can walk up, pay your money,
Sure.
and be out there even if you've never swung the club
Sure.
before.
Yeah.
Not in Germany.
Not in Germany.
Not in Germany.
No, that's,
Fascinating. Okay.
Yeah.
I hijacked your segment. I'm sorry. So you
No,
were
no,
saying
that's
that
fine. That's fine.
there is a book, and I didn't realize that this book existed.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to talk a little bit about the principles?
Yeah. People have a hard time with the rules, and I would say 90% of golfers don't play by the rules, and I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm a rules guy and all of those kinds of things. But if people want to go out and have fun and play, and they're not doing anybody any harm, not damaging the golf course, not causing a problem, that's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
A group of guys get out and they play together, and that's okay. And that's really match play, which is one of the two ways we play the game. We play match play and stroke play.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, though, of course, I think most golfers are competitive, and they want to know how good they are, and they measure themselves against other people. And in order to do that, you're going to be playing against dozens or 100 of people sometimes in a tournament situation. And for it to be a fair tournament, obviously we need to know that everybody's doing the same thing.
Right.
So we all have to play by the same rules. And that's, of course, when you need to learn the rules.
Right. Follow the book. It is
Yeah.
one of the only games that you can play without knowing every rule.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, you
Yeah,
can't
it is.
really go out on the baseball field and play a game of baseball and not follow the rules because
Right.
it's a team. But
Yeah.
really, you could go out on the golf course and just
Yeah.
hit it and not know if you're doing
Sure,
it right.
Sure. And people really, I guess they don't learn they learn the rules from playing with other people and what they're told. And there's a lot of bad information out there, of course.
You're telling me
so-
my dad did not tell me correctly every single time?
Well, I don't know about
Dad,
that.
don't be
but-
listening.
But, it's all well-intentioned, and,
Right.
and I think that's one of the great things about the game, too, is the integrity aspect of it, too. People are not trying to cheat. They're trying to do their best and
Right,
play
right.
by the rules. A little story that I heard from one of the USGA guys. I go to a number of rules workshops and so on, and we have exams and that kind of thing. And Lou Blakey is the guy, and some of you may know who that is. He told us a story one time where he was a single. He was going out for a game of golf, and he got paired with some members, and they knew who he was. They had professionals. Says, "You're playing with Lou Blakey. He's a rules guy." And they said to him on the first tee, "Well, we're happy to play with you, Mr. Blakey, and we try to play by the rules best we can, but we don't necessarily play by all of the rules." And Lou said, "Well, that's fine. That's okay. We're just going to out and have some fun."
Right.
So Lou hits his first tee shot in a bunker, and he walks into the bunker, picks his ball up, and tosses it back out in the fairway. And the other guys are looking at him and going, "What's going on?" He said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we weren't playing by all the rules. You just didn't tell me which ones we're not going to play by."
I like that one. I want to play that round, Jeff. The
Right.
next time we go out, I'm doing it. There we go. That'll solve my sand problem.
But
Good point, though. That's a great point.
Yeah, and I say I'm okay with people doing that. But it always amazes me, especially at the Golf Academy. You got a bunch of young folks, not always young folks, but coming in who have a passion for the game,
right? And
they want to make it their living, and yet they really don't know the rules. A lot of them don't even own a rules book.
Yeah. Well, you said young people and rules all in the same sentence.
Well,
so I'm with teenagers now. I'm learning that.
Right.
But I'll tell you, when I first started playing with my husband and his group, all professionals, all in the business, make their living that way.
Sure.
They still had their local rules, kind of the rules that their group played by. And I think your point is good. As long as everyone who is in that competition is playing by the same rules, that's really all that matters. But I'll tell you what, you do not want to get involved with a group of ladies playing for dimes and not know every single rule, because they will call you on it.
Oh, I know. Yeah, the ladies, I've officiated a lot of golf tournaments. I know, and quite a number of ladies events too. I get involved with, and we do try it in the Golf Academy myself too. Get involved with community and officiate tournaments. We're going to we do the World Am. We provide a lot of volunteers, and I just recently did a Carolina Section PGA Junior Championship. And those kinds of things. So
it's very important.
We do get out there.
But I'll tell you, if and yes, I'm stereotyping. You can send all your crazy comments to me. I'm Shan@thegolfdirector.com. But yes, there's women can be a little crazy. I'm just putting it out there. You said you don't want to be a rules Nazi. Well, I've got plenty I can point you towards if you need their help. But anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but just coming back to the business about people not knowing the rules. I want to introduce you folks to a book which I think is really essential in understanding the rules. Over the coming weeks, we're going to discuss the rules. I'm going to talk about the rules. I'm going to tell you what they are and hopefully try and educate you to know the rules better.
We're excited about that.
But also to understand why things are the way they are. And that's the thought that a lot of people have. They see a ruling made on TV and they think, well, that doesn't make any kind of sense. Why would he be penalized for that? That's crazy. He didn't gain any advantage or anything like that. But if you understand the principle behind the rule, then you can say, oh, okay, I can see how that makes sense. And the first thing, if you are serious about learning the rules book is not that big. It's difficult to navigate sometimes, but they've recently added a section to the rules book. It's the small book, and it's very good because it gives you a little bit of an overview in the contents.
Okay.
And it breaks it down into the game, the ball, responsibilities, order of play, playing the ball, and so on. So it does make it a little easier to find.
Right.
But when people read them, they don't really understand them. It's almost like foreign language, really. I mean, if you were trying to learn a foreign language, the first thing you'd need to do is get some vocabulary and understand what the words mean.
Right.
So we see words in the rules book that we think we know what they mean, but they have a specific meaning.
Right. Could be a little different.
It is. And if you read the book, there are italicized terms. All of those italicized terms are definitions. So anytime you read in the book and you see something in italics, go back to your definitions, read it, make sure you understand the definition.
What they mean.
Yeah, what they mean.
That's a good point.
And just coming back to the principles, written by Richard Tufts, very, very big name in the world of golf. He was...
I'm going to hold this up here. For those of you who are watching us on TGD,
we're on TV,
the tab, it's called The Principles Behind the Rules of Golf.
Yeah. Also available at USGA, $2.
There you go. Richard S. Tufts. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mr. Tufts' family actually started the Pinehurst Resort.
Wow. Okay.
And in the mid-'50s, he was the USGA chairman for a couple of years. And in 1960, he wrote this book. It's The Principles Behind the Rules of Golf. It's not very big, as you can see, but it's great stuff. It really is. And I'm just going to read a couple of things from the introduction just to kind of give you a feel for it. There must be a purpose. and I'm quoting here, "It is indeed unfortunate that in a game as fascinating as golf, an appreciation of the rules under which the game is played should be the exception rather than the order. Even a modest understanding of the rules can greatly enhance the pleasure to be derived from the sport. Further, it's difficult to understand how it is possible to become a devotee of golf without at least becoming inquisitive about the code which governs its play." So there's a little bit of the introduction. And then just a little bit about the principles. There are two great principles, which I don't know if we're going to get to today. I don't know
Probably not today, but that'll give us
That's okay.
that'll give us something to look forward to.
But the thing is, it's an amazing thing to think that there can be rules for golf, because you alluded to playing baseball or football or something like that. Wherever you play baseball, it's a field. It's the same everywhere you go.
It's the same field.
Right? But in golf, of course, that's not the case. We play in all different kind of conditions, all different kinds of environments and topographies and all of those kinds of things. So it's really quite amazing that the rules for all of those possible situations are right here in this small book. And I say the two great principles govern the rules.
And do we have the titles of the two great principles? Are they just called the two great principles?
No, I will share those with you.
Because now you looked at me and I'm like, he's not going to tell us. Jeff, he's not going to tell us. He has to tell us.
I got to tell you.
What are they?
Well, the first principle is we play the course as we find it. We play the course as we find it. If there's one, again I'm quoting here,
okay.
If there's one principle more basic than any of the rest, it must be that you play the course as you find it. This simply means that the player must accept the conditions he encounters during play and may not alter them to suit his convenience.
Which is interesting, because we are down here in the beautiful Myrtle Beach area, which I have to say is 85 degrees in this gorgeous fall day. It's going to be 85 today. But I used to work at a golf course in Minnesota, and we would have the snowfly tournament. And it was the first Saturday when there was snow on the ground.
Right.
And that principle came in. I can see. I didn't know that it existed then.
Oh, yeah.
But it definitely affected that area significantly in that tournament.
Sure. And then he goes on to say the object of the rule is obvious. One of the great features of the game is it tests the player's ability to execute a great assortment of strokes under a perplexing variety of conditions. Golf would cease to be a game of skill if the player were permitted to get the best conditions which confront him through their elimination, rather than to overcome them by the expert execution of a stroke. Golf is a game of chance. It's not fair. The rules of golf are equitable. That is not the same as being fair. They treat everybody in every situation the same way.
See, golf and raising teenagers is the same. I'm so using that. Rules are equitable. They're not fair.
That's exactly right. And as I said, it is a game of chance. And Tufts goes on to say, to be able to accept the breaks and still go on playing your game has always been one of the tests of a true champion. And, so many things these days, we don't like them, so we get rid of them.
Yeah.
But, the rules have been around an awfully long time, 1744. And those two principles still apply. It's accepting the breaks. So that's the first principle. We play the course as we find it.
Right.
And that's Rule 13.
Right.
We'll certainly spend some time talking about that, I'm sure.
And have lots of questions. I already do.
It is one of the most violated rules, for sure. You don't like a situation, you try and get a way out of it, but, you just deal with it.
That game of chance.
That game of chance. And the second great principle is Rule 1. It's right there at the beginning of the book. What is the game? And again, quoting from Tufts, the second great principle is that you put your ball in play at the start of the hole, play only your own ball, and do not touch it until you lift it from the hole. And that is to indicate the importance of this principle. That's the rule the rule that covers it has been assigned the first position in the rules book. It's rule 1. So if you
Definitely
do
lots
those
of
two
questions
things,
on that.
if you
Yeah.
do those two things, you can never do anything wrong. But of course, we all know that there are times where you may not be able to play your ball. You may not be able to make a stroke at it. You may not be able to find it. And if you think of it like that, what the rules are, the rules book are exceptions to those two principles. We stay as close to the two principles as we possibly can.
Right.
And the rules tell us how to deal with those situations where we're not able to do that. So just thinking of those two principles and keeping those in the back of your mind, I think kind of helps you make more sense of the rules.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think explaining it as the rules book is how to handle those exceptions is something I haven't heard before. I think this is going to be fascinating. I love the fact that you're going to be here with us and answering all of our questions.
I'm looking forward to it.
Obviously, I'm sure folks will have questions. And by all means, if you have questions, write to us. Here, you can put comments on the Golf Director on the community site.
I'm sure a lot of my students are going to be posting, trying to catch me out and stump me.
Absolutely, especially if you're at the Golf Academy. Not even here in Myrtle Beach, but if you want to put a little challenge out there we can have a stump the teacher little thing going on out there. We might have to start that up. That would be fun. But thank you so much for doing this and hosting it, and we're looking forward to
I'm really
learning
looking forward
more.
to it, yeah. And it's something, we can talk about the rules forever. When I teach my rules class, it's a 2-hour class, and a lot of times, we might even spend 4 hours on one rule or more.
Wow. All right, everyone.
Get into it in more depth.
So welcome to class, in a good way, though. This is the fun way to go to class.
Yeah.
All right, Martyn, we look forward to the next one. Thank you so much.
I look forward to it too. Thanks, Shannon.
All right.
Thank you.
This edition of The Rules of Golf has been produced and broadcast by the Zeus Radio Network for thegolfdirector.com.